This video is about escaping New York and moving to Florida, maybe particularly New Smyrna Beach. So from concrete chaos to coastal charm, the truth about life after New York. My name is Matt Ecoff. I'm a local real estate expert. We're here in beautiful New Smyrna Beach. We're at Yellow Dog Eats today, which is an awesome barbecue place, one of the only barbecue places in New Smyrna Beach. And we're here to talk about how the pace is slower and the taxes are lower in New Smyrna Beach and Florida.
Like that was
nice,
good.
Wasn't it? Yeah, it was pretty good. Pace is slower and the taxes are lower in New Smyrna Beach and Florida in particular, and the air just feels a little bit lighter here. So if you ever caught yourself staring out the window of your New York apartment, wondering what life could look like without so much stress, then this video is definitely for you. Or maybe your political standpoint is a little bit different than what's going on in New York right now, and this video might be for you as well. All right, so some of the things that we're going to be going over today is what New Yorkers truly are escaping from when they're moving to New Smyrna Beach, how Florida protects your money and your peace of mind. We're also going to be talking about what everyday life looks like in Florida, particularly in New Smyrna Beach and on the East Coast, and then what steps to take if you're ready to make the move from New York to Florida to make sure that you're fully protected. So let's jump into it. Listen, if you're new to the channel and you want to learn everything there is to know about living in New Smyrna Beach and surrounding areas, then you've come to the right place. My name is Matt Ecoff. I'm a local real estate expert. I'm joined by my beautiful wife, Rachel Ecoff. We're here to share everything from the best neighborhoods to the hottest spots around town. Listen to the phone calls, emails, text messages, and invites every day from people just like you moving to the beach. Whether that be in 2 days, 20 days, or 200 days, please do not hesitate to reach out. We'd love to help you move to the beach. Please make sure that the like button and subscribe so you get all the updates and notifications about New Smyrna Beach and surrounding areas like Ormond Beach, Daytona Beach, Port Orange, Pond Sandlake, and Edgewater. Let's dive in today, New York versus Florida. I'm going to let you take the reins at the beginning, talk about point number one.
Okay, well, if you have lived in New York for any length of time, you know that it's a city that demands everything from you. It's a very busy town, not even a town, it's a very busy city.
Yeah.
And there are high crime rates in New York. There's also really high taxes in New York. So let's talk about some of the things that you're going to be leaving behind in New York if you're moving to Florida. So one of the things about New York is that they have some of the highest taxes in the entire country. And that's a lot to put on one person, one single
Yeah, state
family.
income taxes run on almost 11%, I think 10.9% in New York. And then on top of that, you have a city income tax of 3.8%. So
on top of
the state income tax, yeah. So do you know how much state income tax is in the state of Florida? 0%. You are right. How did you know that?
I just learned that actually.
just learned that. But it's not just the taxes. It's the utility cost. It's the traffic. It's the gas. It's the insurance. It's the groceries, right? I mean, when you're in a city like that, you know, whether it's Chicago or New York or LA or even Miami. Love Miami, but we go down there and like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's a really good comparison too. Is even places like Miami, you're going to run into a little bit higher expenses, and you're not going to get that in New Smyrna Beach.
But here's the thing, look, it's not just about the money, it's about the lifestyle, right? We talk all the time that we're a lifestyle channel, we're a real estate channel, but we're a lifestyle channel as well. So it's about walking down the street and realize that you don't know your neighbors anymore in New York, where you can do that here. There's not a single event, we have an 11-year-old daughter, we talk about this all the time, there's not a single event that we can go to, or go to Publix, or go to Home Depot, or go walk down Canal Street or Flag. There's not a single time that we don't see at least one person that we know, sometimes multiple people, and we end up sitting down and having lunch with them or dinner with them or drinks with them or coffee with them, whatever.
Having that community feel and being in a small town and being surrounded by neighbors that you know, I think is really important.
And spending time outdoors and, you know, doing things with your grandkids and your kids and, you know, and your hobbies and your health and moving around and not in such a congested city where you feel, maybe you don't feel safe, but also maybe where it's too much and it's too much to watch multiple kids and it's not as laid back.
It's very high paced, and so what you're leaving behind is the high pace, the taxes, the overcost of things, and what you're gaining by moving to Florida is you're getting a slower paced lifestyle, you're getting a small community feel, and you're saving money. I think that's a huge factor.
And if you're, and, you know, so if it's about craving peace or community or sunshine, I mean, we're in November right now and it's absolutely gorgeous outside, not just success, then that's where Florida and places like New Smyrna Beach might be a better option for you compared to New York, which brings us to point number 2, which is why Florida isn't just cheaper, but it's a better trade-off. Now, we're biased because we live in Florida and we live in New Smyrna Beach particularly. So,
zero state income tax, though, is a huge one.
That is a really big one, but I will tell you, I work more with clients from New York, New Jersey, and Ohio that are moving in than anywhere else in the country by leaps and bounds. California's starting to get an influx of them, but really New York is number one, buyers and sellers, because there are plenty of buyers. I mean, Ruth Baker just sold her place, lives in New York half the year, lives in New Smyrna Beach half the year. I mean, we have the sellers and we have the buyers. But so we get people from New York all the time. So Florida has always attracted New Yorkers. You guys know this. If you're watching this video and you know anybody in New York or you're from New York, you know this. But lately, I will tell you, it's been something a little bit deeper than freedom and political, or put those two words together, political freedom, and some of the dynamics. Now, I don't talk about politics. My parents always taught me to not talk about politics, religion, or money, and so sometimes we have to talk about money because we're a real estate channel, but I would try to avoid politics, so this is not a political video whatsoever, but there is a big...
there's a big change,
and
you may be looking to move out of a place that you don't agree with anymore. It may not reflect your views, and that's okay.
Yep.
And we are welcoming for you to come here, visit, come to the beach, and come see if this fits what you want.
Because look, we have a lot of locals here, but we also have a lot of transplants. And I will tell you that the locals treat the transplants like the other locals. You become a local also. And so there's a small mix of people that you're going to see, and you're going to see the comments on our videos. Don't move here, it's worse. You know, there's shark attacks all the time. The homelessness situation goes up. Look, somebody saw a shark, congratulations. Somebody maybe saw a homeless person, congratulations. That does not mean, those are locals that are commenting negatively about New Smyrna Beach, because this place is popping. So let's start with the numbers, and we already mentioned it, but it's got to be the number one thing. It's 0% state income tax, which means your pension, not only your income tax if you're still making income and you're working remotely, but it's your pension, it's your 401k withdrawals, it's your Social Security, all tax-free at the state level, and that by itself is a huge, huge, huge benefit.
Well, what about there being no inheritance tax or estate tax?
Yeah, also really huge. So now,
what does that look like?
I think that's dependent upon like where you are in life, because if you're inheriting something, you know, if you're our age and we have parents that are aging out, now they're not, you know, they're around and they got some years around, then the inheritance tax is going to play a big deal. If you're a retiree that's 60, 70, 80 years old, you're probably not really worried about inheritance tax. But some of the other things, like the 401k withdrawals or the Social Security, yeah, but maybe you are for your family, exactly. You're thinking about that in the future. Also, property taxes here, and I talk about this a lot, only average about 1%. So just take any property that you think you're going to buy and times it by 1%, and that's what you're looking at. Do not do the Zillow, do not do the Realtor, do not do the Google search of what my property tax is going to be. Those are all wrong. I'm telling you, those are wrong all the time. I almost lost a client, Suzanne and Fred, almost lost a client. They were coming in from Massachusetts, and they looked at what the property tax were going to be, and Fred liked Google, and he looked on Google, and he's like, my property taxes for the $700,000 purchase is $15,000. I'm like, there is no way. Let's run this through title. Let's look at a real closing date and look what that would come up at. And it came in just barely under $6,000. $15,000 to $6,000 in a year. Every year, over and over and over again, is a big deal. $9,000 a year. So that's a golf cart, a new golf cart every year. That's a big time cruise that's flying first class. I mean, there's some big changes that can be made with that. So again, so we have zero income tax. We have the 1% of the assessed value for your property taxes. And that's not with Homestead. You have to get Homestead. We're in November right now, so I got a lot of buyers, specifically some in New Jersey right now, that wants to get a Homestead exemption. So yesterday, they went to the DMV, they changed their driver's license, they changed their registration, they got voter registration cards, so they showed that they're Florida residents, and now they'll be able to get Homestead exemption if we buy from before the end of the year, which also gets you $50,000 off the cap, and it sets you up for an increase of only 3% year over year. So that's a huge, huge, huge benefit, especially with the appreciation value in New Smyrna Beach and how much it goes up. North Beach specifically appreciated $109,000 year over year from 2023 to 2024. So think about that 3% cap year over year. That's a huge advantage in savings. So, and then you already mentioned no inheritance tax or estate tax. So let's just put this in perspective for just a second on the income tax. Let's say that you make $150,000 a year in New York, and you're paying around probably $12,000 to $15,000 with the state tax and the local tax as well. Here, you keep it all. That's $12,000 or $15,000 extra dollars that you have in your pocket, which again can go a long, long, long way.
Yeah, beyond the new car.
Yeah, that's a huge, huge deal. So beyond the savings, let's talk about the emotional ROI. All right, so let's talk about point number 3, what life looks like daily in New Smyrna Beach.
Awesome.
Okay, let's maybe elaborate a little bit more for our audience. They maybe not live here. So what's day-to-day life look like here? So imagine waking up. Let's talk about our day real quick.
Yeah,
so we wake up,
we
take our daughter to school, either you or I. I sometimes go in the office, but most of the time I'll come back home or you'll come back home, and we'll take a walk down to the beach, down the beach to Flagler Avenue, up Flagler Avenue. Sometimes we'll grab coffee, sometimes not. We'll see a couple people, talk for a little bit, and then walk home, and then the day starts. Now, I'm a full-time real estate agent, so I work. So we do videos during the week and stuff like that. Some days I work from home, some days I go into our brokerage. But, you know, I was with some guys on Wednesday, a retiring group of guys that I play golf with and play tennis with and go fishing with. And there's 6 of us celebrating one of our buddy Jim's 65th birthday. And we're sitting around talking about what they do, and you know, they go and they play tennis in the morning, and they go fishing for a little while, or go fishing in the morning before they play tennis. Go home, take a nap, then they go biking. They hang out with their wife a little bit. They have to do that. Sometimes they don't. And then they do everything over. Lots of these guys play tennis at night as well because the weather's so nice. So
yeah, and I would say weather is a big factor on how your day is going to go too. You know.
Absolutely. So golf cart rides around Flagler, golf cart rides just to see what's going on in the neighborhood. You know, golf cart ride down to the jetties, entering in. You know, you don't pay anything to have.
We do a lot of golf carting.
We do a lot of golf carting. We do a lot of e-bike riding as well. So we got that small charm here in New Smyrna Beach. And you know what? And so does Ormond Beach, and so does Ponce Inlet, and so does Edgewater,
and Daytona Shores.
And Daytona Beach Shores. Daytona's a little bit touristy. Sometimes doesn't have as much of a small feel, but we do work that area. So there are some areas that are like that. But all the cities that we cover have that same small town charm feeling.
But I feel like New Smyrna Beach in particular is and we're biased obviously, but it's my favorite community because New Smyrna has so much to offer in such a compacted area. And if you're looking to be in the most walkable town and to have things closest to you, I think New Smyrna Beach is like the top choice.
So let's talk about what we just did. We said we're going to we're going to do a video about New York. We're going to go get pizza because that's just kind of how I associate. So we're going to go have Prima's. So we park down by my brokerage. We walk down to Prima's. Prima's is not a big restaurant, and it's packed all the time because it is fantastic. Best pizza in New Smyrna Beach. We'll go there one time, but today was full. So we went there, and then we're just like, okay, we'll just walk to the next place, and then we walk here. So I mean, it is a small time feel. Locally owned cafes, Cuban sandwiches, barbecue, fish galore. You hear a lot of good mornings here when you're passing by, or good afternoons, because you're going to know people, or at least if you don't know them, they're going to probably be your neighbor. You're going to see them often.
And if you're worried about leaving New York, and like one of those factors is food and like good food that you can eat, you won't make it here if you don't have the best of the best food.
Yep.
So put that on the back burner of your mind. You're going to eat some incredible food in New Smyrna.
Yep. And you're going to be around in the community, food is part of the community, because you see a lot of people that, again, our pastor's sitting right over here. But, you know, the small town community, it's, you know, Saturday morning at the farmer's market just up the street here. If it's the car show every other week, if it's a wine walk, if it's tennis, golf, you know, going fishing at the same local spots, you know, what's going to church on Sunday, the community matters. People show up here. And you're going to get more highs, good mornings, and good afternoons in one day here than you're getting in a whole month in New York City.
Yeah, I think that's true.
All right, so I'm going to let Rachel eat some of her food real quick. And I'm going to take point number 4, how to establish Florida residency and leave New York the right way. Because we want to do it the right way and make sure you get all the benefits that you have here. So if you're serious about making a move to Florida and you don't want the double taxation, I want to talk about how to do it the right way. So number 1 is buying or leasing the Florida home that you're going to be spending all your time at. Okay, that's number 1. That's pretty easy and obvious. Number 2 is get your Florida driver's license and register your vehicles, and do that sooner rather than later. Talking about, again, Carolyn and Dave just did this before, you know, we were going to look for the house. So they want to do that first, but they knew they were going to buy something before the end of the year. Again, we're November 7th right now, so they're going to buy something before the end of the year so they can get Homestead. So they're already taking these steps.
So you want to fast track it so you can get that Homestead exemption.
Absolutely. So talking about Homestead though, so if you buy that house first, then you file for Homestead right away when you do that. Now, we can help you do that here. I can either help you, or you can go through, if you go through my local lender, Faith Adams at HMA Mortgage. She's done other videos with us in the past. You go with Faith, then she can do that for you post-close. So file Homestead exemption right away. After filing Homestead, you're going to register to vote. In New Smyrna, we're a very conservative city. So again, I said I wasn't going to talk about politics, and I'm not, but Florida as a whole, as everybody knows, is a very conservative state. We have Ron DeSantis as governor right now. Now, you could be watching this in 2028. I don't know, and things might change. But right now, in November 2026, Ron DeSantis is in office, and the state is very conservative, and New Smyrna Beach is very conservative as well. Not that we don't have liberals here. I have plenty of friends that are liberals, but for the most part, it is conservative. So register to vote. Then you're going to be moving your bank accounts, your savings accounts, your retirement accounts, your 401k accounts, all those things you want to be moving over. And then also you want to get a local doctor and update your medical stuff and make sure that the local doctor gets all your medical stuff. Then It is Florida law, so this is really, really important, so make sure you do this, is update your trust and your wills. This is something that needs to be done under Florida law, and it's required, so make sure you get that done fairly quickly. Okay, so now this might sound weird, and people might not think about this, but you want to track your days. Now this might not be too hard. If you know that you're coming in here from this month to this month, then that's not a big deal, or if you're going to be spending full time here. But if you are going to be spending part-time between the two places, I will tell you, if you spend 183 days or more in New York, they're going to give you residency, and you're not going to be able to take advantage of the Florida benefits. So 183 days or more.
Still be a New York resident.
Yes, a New York resident, even if you're staying here that other half of the year. So 183 days or more in New York, you're going to be a New York resident. And then I would also say, just the last thing, this is kind of a bonus offer, is work with your CPA, your financial advisor, to make sure that you have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, to make sure that this is all on the up and up, so you understand the multi-state tax levels and laws. Bottom line is, make it undeniable that Florida is your home. You're not just changing your address, you're changing your life and your lifestyle. All right, so since Rachel just finished half her sandwich, I'm going to start working on mine for a second, but I'm going to let her take point number 5, which is the emotional ROI of financial freedom. So the emotional return on investment for feeling financially free, which Florida is going to give you a lot of.
The most number one thing I'm going to say is that money matters, and it matters more because it's what it allows you to do. What drives you in life, obviously, like what it's going to allow you to do with your life and your lifestyle. When you no longer have things like high taxes and you have an extra $10,000, you get to think about what you can spend that towards and what it's going to do to make your life better. So whether that's, you're going on an extra vacation, you're going to buy another car, or
flying first class.
Flying first class. There's a lot of things you can do with an extra 10 grand. Or it could be things like buying a car, buying a boat for Florida.
Well, that would be a big deal here.
That would be really a good one. Maybe you're looking to upgrade your house or investing it into real estate that way. I think money is a huge driving force for people leaving and coming here, saving money, not spending as much, getting probably a larger property than they have in New York. Most of the time, that's what you're hearing from customers, is that they're getting more space for their money.
Well, it depends on where you're moving from New York.
Depends on where you're moving. If you're moving from the city particularly, you're probably getting a bigger space.
But also depends on where you move in New Smyrna Beach as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're going to move beachside, we did a video, 930,000 versus 930,000. And we had a 930,000 home that I sold in Venetian Bay that was 3,600 square feet. That same $930,000 beachside on Kirkland was only getting you a 1,600 square foot house. Now, you were 100 yards from the ocean, but I think it depends on where you move in New York and then where you move to in New Smyrna Beach. But nevertheless, it's not just about the money, it's about not worrying so much about where your money's going, because you're saving so much by living in Florida versus living in New York.
And the things that you can do are a lot different here than in the city. You have an opportunity to do a lot more things, maybe outside, go to the beach, do outdoor activities, and you now have the freedom and money that you have moved to do those things.
Yeah, I have New York clients that tell me that they didn't just free up money, that they freed up, this stress level of where the money was going to go to. So,
right.
I didn't think I was just going to move here to save money, but what I really did was buy myself time, because they see their money going farther, because they're saving, money 2 different ways.
All right, so now we're going to talk about point number 6, which is the trade you will never regret.
Well, first off, I've never lived in New York, but I know people that have, and I have clients that have, and I hear this side versus this side. I think New York's always going to have that energy, right? It's a big city, and that's what I hear the most of, is that it's like, it's energetic, and it's just got this pace and this feel and all this. But Florida gives you peace. It's why we're the #1 retirement destination in the United States, Florida, because you have peace here. And so it's not this maybe crazy busy lifestyle. I'm crazy busy here, so I can't even imagine what I would feel like if I was in New York.
Well, and also you have to think about how much New York is changing. It's changing currently, and how much it's changed since they've lived there, and maybe it's not going in a direction that you enjoy.
And people from New York and people in New York, I feel like you have to always be on. Like, you always got to be on. You have to be attentive and ready. And here you just get to breathe. You just get to relax and take it easy,
And wear flip-flops.
And wear flip-flops and lose that stress weight. Man, that stress weight is real. I'm stressed out right now. I'm going up and up and I don't know what I'm stressed out about. I'm blaming the weight gain on the stress. But I got to think about, you ate more of your sandwich than I did. So let's call it what it is. So this is not, moving to Florida is not about retiring early or giving up that ambition that you had while you were in New York. Again, it can be a plethora of things, but it's about fully being in control of your time, your money, and your lifestyle, which we have a lot more of here, I believe. And, especially, We were just meeting some clients that I'm selling their condo just a little bit ago, and they're going back to New York, and he's a pilot, Steve Green, and I'm selling their condo right now, and they're here visiting for this weekend, and they said they're going to go home and it's going to be 20 degrees. And his wife really liked it, and his wife's like, oh, I'm a sweater kind of person, but he's like, man, I would much rather be in here. He was in flip-flops and shorts and a t-shirt, and that's, you know, my kind of lifestyle too. And that honestly leads to, you know, outdoor living too. That leads to your lifestyle. And are you going to fish more? And are you going to golf more? And are you going to play more pickleball and tennis and stuff like that?
Yeah, are you going because you have the ability, weather is permitting it.
Yeah, because
you know?
in November, December, January, February, when it's cold as, you know, anything out there, and it's overcast all the time.
20 degrees. So nobody's playing pickleball in 20 degrees.
Not unless it's playing indoor.
You are playing it here outdoors in the sun in the 60 to 70 degree weather, and it's absolutely perfect for that. And I would probably say tennis more than pickleball.
Well, I'm going to say tennis. I love you pickleballers because redheaded stepchild. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it redheaded. I know I don't want to lose any clients or potential clients because of this, but I am an avid tennis player. I've not yet played pickleball, and so although you're my arch nemesis, you're like that brother that you just is competitive against, and so that's what it is. It's a brotherly love, but I'm going to call you the redheaded stepchild anyway. All right, so at the end of the day, you can still build, thrive here. You know, it's just at a slower pace and at your own kind of pace. And so I'm not having this worry. So you'll still have great restaurants. You're still going to have strong Wi-Fi. Don't worry about that. You're going to have plenty of culture just without the chaos that you get in New York. So if you want to come here and you want to sit on the beach, you want to watch the pelicans fly by, and you want to watch the dolphins jump around in the water, and the kids playing, and people riding their bikes and walking and golf carting, and you want to feel like, you know, that it was leaving New York the right decision, I can tell you that it will be. You didn't just leave New York, but you came home, and that's what it feels like, specifically in New Smyrna Beach, specifically in Ormond, specifically in Ponce Inlet, Edgewater, Port Orange, and Daytona Beach. All right, so let's get down to it. Listen, if you're thinking about making the move from New York to Florida, I'd love to help you find a place here. I have lived in Volusia County since 1984. I know this place. I've seen the area grow. I've seen it change. I've seen it evolve. But what's never changed is the good life that this place has. What's never changed is the lifestyle and the people that just love being here. Listen, I get phone calls, emails, text messages, Zoom invites every day from people just like you moving to the beach. So whether that be in 2 days, 20 days, or 200 days, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to help you move from New York to Florida, to the beach. And until next time, thanks for joining us. See you later.
Bye.